asking for a lot, even though you don't get it, people will gain respect for you. Asking for a little, even if you get it, they'll look down on you and think, you know what, this person is worth that. But even if you ask for a lot and you get little, like I said, that becomes leverage for future negotiations. The respect level that they have for you has increased. So that means asking for a lot. That means demanding people to treat you with respect. Respond to me on time. Be on time. You know, don't talk to me that way. You demanding a lot, and not just in relationships, but just in life in general, people will respect it. But just make sure when somebody does overcross your boundaries, make sure that, because it goes on to the next point, is regality. Okay, having a regal air to you. That means if somebody disrespects you, you don't raise your voice. You don't make threats that you're not gonna follow through. You don't bluff. What you want to be able to do is be little of words and big with action. So that means if somebody is disrespectful, you don't raise your voice. You give them a look. And then you say, hey, I don't like what you did that right there, man. Please don't do it again. You just learn to communicate. And if they do it again, you don't raise your voice, right? You just get up and leave, right? That regality, where you don't let people watch you have silly arguments. You don't let people see you lose your cool. You don't let people see you being vulgar, being unprofessional, right? You act as though everyone is watching you 24/7. You have that conscious awareness that people are aware of you and that you have to act with respect and regality. So that means you don't get in silly debates. So that means that you don't act hood, you don't keep it real all the time, right? You assume that everyone is watching. The next one is having, like I said, having a difficult side, right? And that's why I was talking about even with negotiation, even if you want to get, like, for example, 70K a year if you're negotiating your salary, even if that's what you want, you make it difficult for them to just give you that. Like even though that's exactly what you want, put up some resistance, right? Because it comes down to the next side, is that people respect somebody with a dark side, right? People respect people who know how to compartmentalize themselves and be able to show different masks depending on the situation. For example, like actors, like the Joffrey guy, like from Game of Thrones. A lot of people used to go up to him and say, "Fuck you, Joffrey," and they're like, "Bitch, I'm just acting," right? He was so good at his job that people assumed that his dark side was really him, right? And so what you want to be able to do is be able to have different sides of your personality depending on the situation. If somebody disrespects you, you're able to show a darker and more aggressive side to you. If somebody's acting nice with you, you're able to show the niceness. If you're a teacher at school, you're able to show a more serious, assertive side. But then when your students see you outside of school, they're like, "Oh my God, Miss Kumbara," that was one of my teachers. You're so nice outside of school, and she'd be like, "Well, I'm at work, so I gotta be more professional around you." People respect that. You get what I'm saying? And so too many people try to keep one face in every situation because they want to keep it real. Well, but what they don't notice is that acting is part of it. That's what you call being a professional, right? Being able to be a professional is keeping the decorum, even when everything about you says go in the opposite direction. By the way, check out my new channel, Professor Alex. It's a channel that I created where I talk about spirituality, self-help, and topics like the ones you see here. It's completely different from the men's channel. So click on that right now, and there you'll be able to get 3 or 4 videos per week that you will never find on this channel. Okay, subscribe right now or else I'm closing it. So that means, and a perfect example is Goku from Dragon Ball Z, right? Goku is known as a very happy, friendly person, right? And in fact, he's actually the goofiest person on the show. But then when his friends get bullied, when his friends are about to die or something like that, what Goku has is that he has another side to him that's really dark and really aggressive. He has a darker and more serious side, and you'll notice because he'll go from "hello there" to like more like seriousness, and that ability to be able to change, not personality, but different faces, makes people respect you because they're like, oh my God, that's like, that's his serious side. But then when you go back to your nice and happy side, people would try everything they could to keep the happy side and not bring out the dark side. Not because you're, like abusive. We're not talking like that. But it's almost like a teacher who is usually serious, but then you finally do something to get a smile out of them. And you're like, oh, I got them to smile. Nice, right? That's what I'm talking about, right? It's almost like the Jamaican restaurant syndrome, where every time you go to a Jamaican restaurant, nobody smiles at you, right? But then the one time they smile at you, you remember that. And you want to see that side. So that's what I'm talking about, right? You want to be able to have a professional side and then allow people to see your non-professional side in a different setting, right? People who don't know how to put on a mask and change their behavior based on the context and setting, you just cannot respect people like that. It's like a pilot from the Bronx coming in to pilot with fucking Timberlands and freaking FUBU shirts. It's like, yeah, you can fly a pilot, but I don't respect you that much. Like, you gotta learn that this game is acting, right? And there's a psychological like effect on people when they're able to see different sides to you, and it's that it gives your personality more color, more flavor, right? It's like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Like I said, Goku is a very playful person and very loosey-goosey, to be honest with you. But then when his friends are about to die or they're in danger, Goku turns into a freaking animal. He turns like just a very serious, angry person, right? And when you watch it, you kind of marvel at his different sides because he's so goofy, but then he's so serious and insane when it comes to training, right? And so those opposites in juxtaposition creates a type of friction, like creating fire, that gives his personality an air of power, and it increases their respect. As opposed to Vegeta, who is a very serious person, but he doesn't have that type of depth to his... Well, he does have a depth to his character, actually, because he's a better father than Goku. But being able to see two completely different sides in one person adds character, adds value. And you could do this not by being fake, but by learning how to play different roles that life offers. When you're at work, you act completely professional, to the point that people might not even know your true personality unless they meet you outside of work. When I'm on YouTube, right, for example, I give you a completely different side. But then when I'm in my personal life, my friends will see a completely different side. People got to see all the different sides of you, because what it does, it just makes you more interesting, and it inspires like a sense of fear. For example, Hans, the guy from Inglourious Bastard, the hunter, the J hunter, right? He came across as a very polite, very like jovial person. Hello there. We're trying to find some Israeli people, right? Because he was killing them. And whenever there were scenes when he came from happy to serious, and seeing those two sides in humans creates respect and fear. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Okay? Learn to compartmentalize. Learn to embrace the shadow side of your personality, because the shadow is the contours to your personality. All right? And these are the things that you guys can do. These are the behavior that increases respect. All right? And these are things that you guys can apply in your life, not just dating, but in your professional life, especially about the part of compartmentalizing your personality. Learning to dim one part and learning to increase another part based on the context. People who can't do that, you can't bring them around certain people. You just can't. Like you pretty much say this person cannot be around certain people because this person doesn't know how to act, right? And that's where the power comes. Now, it's okay to be vulgar, but don't be too vulgar. Don't be too different, if that makes any sense, right? But that's for a whole nother subject.